Okay.
Hello and welcome to the 2021 Toronto International Film Festival. My name is Ravi Srinivasan and I'm one of the programmers here at the festival. Thank you so much for watching the North American premiere screening of Whether the Weather is Fine, directed by Carlo Francisco Manatad. We're thrilled to be presenting this special digital Q&A for those watching at home. And it's my great pleasure to welcome Carlo to the Q&A. Carlo, welcome to Tiff, and thank you for joining us.
Uh, Thank you for having me here and having the film in this festival. I mean, it's really good to be back again in Toronto. Thank you.
Yes, and so I wanted to start off with that. Your short film, The Imminent, played Tiff in 2018, and
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, talk to us about the transition. What about that experience? You
yeah,
played many festivals with the film. How did that help you sort of pave the way to make this new and exciting first feature, Whether the Weather is Fine?
yeah. I mean, it's not even just about the last short film, the Eminent. I've been doing shorts way before, but specifically with the last one I did, which played at TIFF. It was more of like a proof of concept short film in a way. It was something that I did for pitching for Torino Film Lab, where Whether the Weather's Fine during development was part of, and then it was supposed to be a sort of like a teaser to show it to the industry. And then I realized I had something with me, like in terms of the materials. So I did a little bit of editing with my friend, and then it came up to become the short film that played at TIFF. Um, yeah, I mean, like it was really, how to say, it was really a long process in terms of like how I transitioned from shorts to feature. I started making shorts way back 2015. I had my first short in Locarno, and then in between I was doing shorts in between, but at the same time I was also developing the feature. So in a way, the process it took normally for at least a Filipino film to making a feature was very different in a way. Like a lot of my friends and even like colleagues would say like, what's taking you so long? It's not usually the case in terms of the process of films, because like in the Philippines, like if you have money like this, you just shoot and then you premiere. It was really fast. But I mean, there were times I would think, am I doing it right? Is it the proper process? Is it too long? Is it too short? I don't know, but I think I wouldn't change the whole thing that I went to in terms of the process, because I think from transitioning to shorts to feature, in between the development, I felt like I, in a way, slowly discovered the kinds of films that I was making, and towards where the feature is right now, as what you just saw in the festival. And I think if I have done it in a way where it was shorter or like the usual way, it could have been the film that it is right now that you've seen. So I think it was more of like the process of discovering myself, discovering the cinema that I want to make, which I couldn't do if I did it like in a very shortcut way. So yeah.
Hmm. And so you mentioned Locarno, where you just had your world premiere, I
Yeah.
believe, a couple of weeks ago. So the Locarno Film Festival in Switzerland, and where you came home with a prize. And so I'm wondering if you can talk about,
Yeah.
that experience, but also, there's the achievement, but also that Filipino film in general is being, well received and very recognized in the art house and international audience communities. I'm wondering if you, and now you're greatly a part of that. I'm wondering if you can talk about, the experience of your first feature, winning a prize at Locarno, but then
Yeah.
also, this sort of feeling in the air that Filipino cinema is sort of,
Yeah.
very much on the rise.
Yeah, it's more of always the question that has been asked regarding like premiering in Locarno. And I think it's really nice, at least on my end, to because I had my first short in Locarno actually 2015, and now I have my first feature in Locarno. So in a way, it's more of like going back home and then like sharing to the world your new work. It was weird for me, I think, in a way, because this is my first feature. in essence, the other shorts, I feel a bit confident in terms of what I was doing. I mean, not confident per se, but with feature, I didn't know the ropes of how to go around. So every time I describe the experience, I still don't know, even up until now, actually. It's like I saw my film, it looks like a film, and but sometimes like, oh, it looks like a film, like I did that. But more importantly, it was much more of like sharing. It was a weird feeling sharing these, and especially my film is very personal, and having people actually watch it and in a way embrace it, talk about it, may it be bad or good, feels very different to me. And in essence, sometimes I couldn't really take in all of this, but I think it's a nice process in a way. I mean, this is my first time making a short, or maybe one of the first few ones. The price for me wasn't really a thing that I really expected. I think it was more of like, this sounds maybe cliche, especially with first feature filmmakers, but like it was already a prize being selected in Locarno, and of course now playing at Tiff, which is quite very big, and I'm really happy about it. Getting the prize, the Cinema Giovanto, it was a youth jury prize, which is they awarded the youth best film of the Cineasta del Presente by the youth. It speaks big about how I see my film, because like it sparks and it speaks about the generation I am in, which is the youth. I feel young, you know. I mean, I know I'm quite old, but I feel youthful about it, and it's nice to see these young people, young individuals being inspired and being moved by the work. I did not expect how people would react to it, but then getting the prize and actually like talking to the jury and knowing how they feel about the film, regardless of the culture, regardless of the understandability of like the context of what they were watching. um Take all of this at the end of the day, regardless of what they get when they finish watching the film, they felt something. And I think that's the best way I can convey or give to them. Like maybe some scenes they don't understand, these contexts they don't know what's happening. But when they go out to the cinema and they talk about it, or maybe not talk about it, but it sticks on you. Like you feel something, and then or like some image that really struck you, and then it reminds you of the film and reminds you of something. Maybe it may it be personal or an event, or it feels very nice. Like I think I'm doing the right job. And I will do more if this is the feeling that conveys to me when with the audiences that watch it. So really nice.
The film focuses, as you know, for those who watched, the devastating aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan in 2013 in the coastal city of Tacloban. I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about, what you remember from when those events, transpired, or your
Mm.
connection to the community, but also, why you wanted to bring this story to international audiences.
Yeah, I mean, just a backgrounder. Way before the storm actually happened, I was developing a feature project already. And it was more of like I felt the the screenplay was complete, but at the same time, I felt it wasn't complete, and I didn't really know what was it. Like I've been having people read it, like collaborators read it. They think it's already there, but me myself as the filmmaker, I couldn't see the completeness of the material. Then the storm happened. I am based in Manila, and a lot of my family are based in Tacloban. It's like in the middle part of the Philippines, southern of Manila. So during that time, I didn't have any like contact with my family. The last contact I had was like minutes before the storm hit, and the last conversation we had was like, just go out of the just go out of our house, maybe rent out a hotel room and just stay there, because I know, I mean, growing up, it was normal for me living every time a typhoon would hit my place, to the point like I would go to school like with flood up to here. It was normal for us. So during when there was like news that another typhoon was coming, it was normal for everyone. It was just like, okay, another day, another shit. We get our things, put it there. It was just normal. So when it happened, and then I was in Manila, a few hours, I saw the news, lots of dead people. It was really weird because like I was there. I was there in Manila, and I was trying to contact everyone, and then nothing. Just the next few hours was like I can still remember the feeling right now, and the images were vivid. Just like I was calling my boss. I rode a military plane alone with like satellite dishes behind me. I was the only human being at the back of a military plane. And then, yeah, it was really weird. And then while I was flying, like images of things that I was seeing over the news was like popping. So I was already programming myself like when I land, I think everyone is dead. So what I really wanted was like just to find their body and then maybe give them a proper burial. I don't know because like there wasn't that enough info. We couldn't see images of the only images that we saw were like dead people. I couldn't contact anyone. So I needed to program and I didn't want to like expect something that I was not expecting like whatever. And then when I land, it felt really weird because the place that I knew of ever since, like in terms of the geography, I was born and raised there. I know where to go. It was a different it was a different land. It was like sea of dead people, structures like broken. First few minutes actually I was thinking if I should push through with finding my family just because if I move forward after the plane just arrived, I can't go back. So it was like it was hopeless. It's like should I? Because from what I'm seeing, I'm not gonna find them anyways. So I still pushed through. Took me hours stepping on dead people, going to like familiar places like houses of my friends and seeing them dead just outside their gates. For some weird reason, I did not feel anything. There was this adrenaline rush of me just wanting to find my family. And as you've seen in the film, other scenes would feel that it was really absurd to the point of comical, but it really did happen. Like, for instance, one particular scene which I may like describe, um, when you see Norma going into the Astrodome, like the rescue center, and then suddenly people started to dance. I mean, that's very,
Aerobic.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's very iconic in the film, and people who won't have like background of it would feel it's very an absurd situation, but it really did happen. Like I was at the exact Astrodome because we actually shot at the exact Astrodome. I was asking for information regarding this and that, food in here, where are the families, blah blah blah. And then suddenly at the background I hear like Madonna, Papa Don't Preach. And I was like everyone was like crying or whatsoever, and then I hear this fucking Madonna song. Sorry for the word, but I hear this Madonna song, and I was like, I look at my back, maybe 20 to 30 people were actually dancing in a very synchronous manner, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? um, I talked to the army, and they said, yeah, we do it like every 2 hours or 3 hours. Say why? So that they don't think about the tragedy. They do something different,
Right.
like
Yeah.
activity or
Yeah.
something, those little things. And like y- you cannot explain that to each and every audience, but in terms of like the experience, it really did happen.
Right.
So in essence, also there's this thing about people asking me like your films are not the kind of Filipino films that we've actually been watching, because usually it's more of like social realist, sometimes very political or whatsoever.
Mhm.
I do feel like my films are still that. regardless of the treatment of how I do my films, I don't want to discuss those things because the film is a Filipino film. Regardless if you don't discuss it, it's always in the background. Poverty would always be in the background. Things that we're really striving hard, it would always be in the background. And I focus merely on not even issues, but like the journey of characters, or like people who you think won't have like people that maybe can't have their stories told because maybe when you just see them, they're boring. But I myself as a filmmaker, I hyper focus on like people that think does not seem to have an interesting story. But when I do, I really do. And then I see the beauty of their story. And sometimes these stories of these little people are bigger than the stories that have been told in other ways. So yeah.
Yeah, Carlo, I mean, that's an incredible share for the people who have watched this film, and to understand that that's where you're coming from. That's where the vision that you had and, your experience is sort of coming, true to form on screen. I had all of these questions lined up for about form and style, but I think that what you just delivered there was far more important. I'm going to get you out of here on this last question. There are large Filipino communities all over the world, but specifically there is a very great Filipino population here in Toronto and in Canada. For those watching, what do you hope that the Filipinos who are watching across Canada will take away from your experience, this film,
Mm,
and for friends and family that may have suffered through this
yeah.
tragedy?
I think with this film, I would like to at least like share, like in terms of the cinema and the stories are very diverse. I think like a lot of films hasn't been really seen across communities around the world, and I feel like being in a platform such as Toronto, with a big community of not just Filipinos, not just Asians, but very different and diverse. Sharing something that they think is something new could actually open more like ideas and like thoughts about how narratives are actually told. So it excites me the most that this film would just like expand its audience, and maybe also create conversations and things regarding how to tell stories about our culture, about where I'm from, and about like the community that they have not been in because they're far from where they are right now. And I hope they become proud of what they see, or be
Oh,
inspired, or just maybe be angry or be happy. I don't know. Just feel something, please.
I'm positive that the audiences who have seen this film have felt something, some kind of reaction. Carlo, on behalf of Toronto, Tiff, the community, thank you so much for creating this work and bringing
Thank
it
you
here
very
to
much.
Toronto. We wish we could have welcomed you. Maybe we still will. Hopefully, we'll
Let's
see what
see.
happens. We'll see what happens. But Carlo, you're in Istanbul. Enjoy your time. Be safe, and hopefully,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks to everyone who joined us today, and we'll see you at the next Q&A.